Hi, my name is Alex Kimmig. I'm a senior at the University of Georgia.
I'm Anshuman Das. I'm a master's student, also at UGA.
And together we built ConsensusMD, a diagnostic support tool for physicians.
Now, what's the problem that we're trying to solve? Well, most patient cases never get a second opinion looked at them, but they should, because it can prevent misdiagnoses.
This is seen with over 12 million misdiagnoses being reported in the US alone. That's 1 out of every 20 cases. It affects everyone.
In the Mayo Clinic, 88% of patients have their diagnosis revised. That's a lot of patients, and it means that those errors were potentially prevented. But 75 million Americans live in a designated primary care shortage area, which means that they may not have access to these life-saving second opinions.
That's why we built ConsensusMD, a tool for physicians that's fast, accessible, and most importantly, reliable that they can use to provide these patients with those critical second opinions. The reasoning behind this and the way that we got it to work was the usage of 3 frontier models that reason in parallel, then proceed to debate over the course of 4 rounds, alongside a 4th agent that's trying to disprove the others to reach a consensus. Each agent is isolated and given a subset of data in order to avoid bias between the rounds and one another.
After the agents are done debating, they can either reach convergence, where a single diagnosis is presented to the physician, or a deadlock, which means the agents are still not completely sure. This is a feature that we added, not a bug. It presents the physician with more information that they can then look deeper into the case of the patient. The more reasoning we provide, the better the potential outcome for the patient. Now, we wanted to make sure that our architecture actually worked. So we essentially did an entire research study for this. We went through 175 publicly published patient cases, and we went through single frontier models and see how they did. Gemini 3.1 Pro, 49% accuracy. Opus 4.7, 64.3%. GPT 5.4 did the best at 71.4%. But our unique architecture did the absolute best with 79.8% accuracy. This is a truly revolutionary gain, especially for these patients. So we know our architecture works, and we know it can be absolutely helpful.
A big part of consensus is that we wanted to make sure that the physician was always in the loop. At the end of the day, these are computer programs, and while they might be very well trained, they lack a critical understanding that a physician might provide, which is why we first and foremost have to have the physician understanding and involved. In order to achieve this, what we've gone ahead is we've made all the information that the agents present and how committed they are to their different diagnoses at the forefront of the debate. So at any point, a physician can review the agent's current reasoning, how committed it is to their diagnosis, as well as the logic behind it.
We have 4 different layers of this confidence: committed, leading, candidate, and considered. What we aim to achieve is committed every single time, but the others still provide physicians with more information. Here you can see a potential outcome, which is convergence. We won't go into too much detail because we'll be showing you a demo in real time. Here's the other one of deadlock. Here's a quick demo of our product. As you can see, we have 6 preloaded cases that the doctor can reference, and here we have instructions for a new onboarding system. We're not going to go through this right now for the sake of time, but we do have a new patient intake form that you can use. As you can see, we can just put in a new patient name, as well as other information about them. For the sake of time, we've already filled this out with demo data. I'm just going to quickly go through this, and as you can see, we have all the basic necessities that a doctor would put in these patient intake forms. We have their past medical history, medications, family history, all that you could want. Here, you're going to review it, and then finally hit convene. This is the main page. This is where the magic happens. Every time a doctor goes through this, it's going to take 3 to 5 minutes per patient case. That's because it has all those rounds of the models reasoning and debating each other. So we've already created a demo for you to see.
So this is our convergence demo. When an agonist agent is unable to disprove a theory for 2 rounds straight, it converges on this result as the diagnosis and is presented to the physician. So in the center of the screen, you can see pop-ups of the agents returning their findings, their diagnosis, and their reasoning. These are further expanded upon in the far right in the transcript, where the physician can review more evidence in greater detail for these challenges. On the far left side of the screen, we have a live differential. This includes every single diagnosis that's currently being tested, as well as the current model's thoughts on them. This is live information for the physician to keep track of the model's thinking. Eventually, if a diagnosis survives 2 rounds of testing, it will appear as converged. Here we have the convergence screen with the diagnosis, the reasoning behind the diagnosis, as well as uncertainties that the model might have had, all of which is extremely important to the physician.
Now, we've also prepared the other outcome for you, which we call deadlock. This is when a diagnosis does not survive the antagonist's reasoning. The challenges, well, they may not have answers to them, or they may be considering multiple diagnoses. As you can see, the probabilities of this diagnosis, they're all mostly the same. There isn't really one leading absolute outlier. And this is common of a deadlock case. Deadlock cases aren't a failure. They're a feature. They're a huge part of our system. We like deadlock cases because they provide gold to the physician to see that, hey, this is a truly challenging case and you should probably pay attention more to it. So you can see here, we're continuously challenging these model LLMs and they don't really fully have answers to them. All of this information will be presented to the physician. And we're about to come up on the final deadlock here. Here it is. Yep. And we have the continuing competing hypotheses, the reasoning behind it, and the fact that we didn't get a single diagnosis. So thank you for looking at our demo. And we hope you liked it.
Thank you.
Yippee!